What's going on, everyone? This is Kevin here, coming at you with my hands-on and first impressions video of the Motorola Moto G Stylus 5G 2022. So let's get started. Now, as the name does imply, the Moto G Stylus 5G 2022 is the successor to last year's model of the device. And this time around, we get quite a few new features here. Now, I will be comparing this phone to its predecessor in a dedicated video coming up soon, but I'm definitely looking forward to showing you a variety of different things about the device in this video. Now, this phone features an MSRP of $449, and it is factory unlocked and works with all major US carriers. However, I'm sure as time goes on, there will be various deals and discounts out there, so definitely take a look at the link in the video description to see the most up-to-date pricing for this device. And in addition to that, I know this phone is making its way over to a variety of different carriers, and typically at the carrier stores, they do offer a lot of different deals and even bigger promotions for phones like this one. So definitely make sure to take a look and see what offers your carrier has available for the Moto G Stylus 5G 2022 so that you can get the best deal on the phone. Now, before I show you a variety of different things about the device, let's take a closer look and see what all comes included here in the box. So you can see right here Moto G Stylus 5G and then 5G once again up in the corner. And then on the back of the box, we do have some regulatory information. And then in the box itself is some literature. We have a SIM card removal tool. We have a USB-C cable for charging and data transfer. And we have a USB wall adapter. And this is unfortunately a 10-watt wall adapter, which is better than some 5-watt power adapters that are out there. But this unfortunately doesn't have the wattage to support the full Quick Charge 3.0 that this phone does work with. Now, with the Motorola Moto G Stylus 5G 2022, we have a very large 6.8-inch display. Now, this display is IPS LCD, but it is 120 Hz, which is really cool to see. So it's a faster refresh rate, giving us a much more premium experience when navigating around the phone. It pretty much makes things look super smooth here, as you can probably notice already, and it is definitely working very well. So I'm glad that we do have 120 Hz for this display, as it really does make this phone feel a lot more premium than it even is. Now, in addition to that, this display is 1080p, so everything here is super crisp and clear. It features a PPI of 395, a 20.5 by 9 aspect ratio, so a very narrow but taller form factor here, which especially makes this phone ideal for social media apps or browsing online, for example, because you won't have to do as much scrolling since the display is very tall. Now, the phone also features an 85.8% screen-to-body ratio, so we have pretty small bezels all throughout here. Now, I'm definitely a fan of the general form factor and design of this device. Again, it is nice to have these smaller bezels, and I also appreciate that we do have a hole punch for the front-facing camera, and that front camera is 16 megapixels. Now, stay tuned for my full review of this device here in the channel, as I'll be showing you a variety of different photo and video samples from all the various cameras on this phone. Now, as far as internal storage goes, this could be different if you get the device from a carrier, but if you do get the factory unlocked version of it, you are getting 256 gigabytes. So that's quite a bit of storage to have internally here on the phone. And in addition to that, this device does support microSD card expansion, so you can always add in a microSD card to add even more storage to the device to offload photos and videos, for example. But really, having 256 gigs is quite a bit, and I'm sure that probably will last you for the entire time that you end up owning the phone for. So considering that this phone is less than $500 and gives us that much internal space, Apple really needs to up the amount of space they're giving to their devices, as they're nowhere near what you get here for the price. Now, unfortunately, there is no wireless charging with the G Stylus 5G 2022, but we do have a fingerprint sensor on the power button, so we'll give that a try right now. So very fast and responsive. One more time. There we go. And this device also supports face unlock, so I do appreciate that we have multiple methods for getting into the phone. Now, taking a look at the back of the device, we do have a triple camera setup here. We have a 50 megapixel main camera, an 8 megapixel ultra wide angle camera that can capture images at up to 118 degrees, and we have a 2 megapixel depth sensing camera to assist with portrait mode. So we do have portrait mode with both the rear and front cameras on the device. So if you do like to take photos with those nice blurred out backgrounds, then the Moto G Stylus 5G 2022 does indeed have you covered here. Now here's how things look on the camera app on the device. This is with the main camera right now. And then from here, we can easily switch over to the ultra wide angle camera to fit a lot more content into the frame. We can also then head over to portrait mode to get those nice blurred out backgrounds. And then we can flip around to the front facing camera to do the same thing. So you can take portrait selfies, or if you want to, you can take standard selfies as well. And then going over to the More tab here, you can see that we have a variety of different options. So all in all, we get quite a few camera features here, both related to the hardware and software. Now as far as RAM and processor go, with the Moto G Stylus 5G 2022, we have quite a bit here. So we have 8 GB of RAM, paired up with the Qualcomm Snapdragon 695 5G processor. So with that combination, you should expect to get pretty solid performance with this device. Of course, having that faster refresh rate on the display naturally does make the phone appear that it is running much faster than a phone that has a lower refresh rate. But even with everything considered, we do have a pretty good combination here with the RAM and processor. Now I did run a benchmark test using Geekbench 5, and I'll show you the scores from that test right now. But essentially, I got a single core score of 622 and a multi-core score of 1928. So what I recommend doing is running this test on your current phone and then compare your scores to these scores to see whether or not the Moto G Stylus 5G 2022 is going to be a performance upgrade for you. Because it is possible that the phone you have right now could be faster than this one. Now I know that there has been some debate regarding whether or not we're really getting a good deal here with the RAM and processor related to the MSRP of the device. And I will say in general, at that $449 price point, there is a lot of competition out there, and you should certainly see what the various competitors to this phone have to offer and what various discounts those might have. And I guess that's the general theme that you might want to stick with if you're considering getting this device, is that since there is so much competition out there, you really should see what deals there are. For example, various carriers tend to offer a bunch of different deals for many different phones, so it is very possible that if you end up looking to get this device, there might be a more powerful device out there being offered at a discount. So, for example, I know that Samsung's Galaxy S21 FE tends to have quite a few deals going on. I don't know about right now, so you should definitely take a look and see. But if you can get that phone for the same price or less than this device, especially if you combine it with a trade-in deal, for example, then you are going to be getting a way better and more powerful smartphone. So as it stands by itself, the Moto G Stylus 5G 2022 is a pretty good deal for the price. But again, keep in mind that there is so much competition out there, there might be other companies that have an even better deal to be had. Obviously, at the time that I'm making this video, the deals are likely different from the time that you're watching this video. So again, definitely take a look at the various links in the video description to see what this phone and the various competitors are being offered at, as that certainly is bound to change as time goes on. Now, a major disappointment with this device is that there is no 4K video recording, unfortunately. So video recording with the front camera and rear camera do max out at 1080p, and the rear camera does offer 60 FPS, but that is the maximum here. So again, unfortunately, there is no 4K video recording, which is certainly very disappointing, especially considering that there have been many Motorola devices that I've used in the past that are much lower end compared to this one that did have 4K video recording. Now the battery capacity with this phone is 5,000 milliamp hours, so quite a bit of battery capacity there. So you should definitely expect to get at least a day, if not two, of usage out of this device. And as I mentioned earlier on in the video, this phone is compatible with Qualcomm's Quick Charge 3.0 technology. So essentially, if you pair this up with the right charger, you will be able to recharge the phone very quickly. Now the software that we're getting here is Android 12, and it does feature Motorola's skin added on. However, in general, Motorola doesn't change too much as far as stock Android goes. For the most part, they're just adding in their own bonus features. So I feel like this is one of the best implementations of Android on a smartphone outside of what Google offers with their Pixel devices. And I'm certainly a big fan of it, so I'm glad that they're sticking with this. But again, they have added in a lot of their own features, and many of these features, if not all of them, are not really gimmicks either. So they took what's great about Android as it is, didn't really change things just for the sake of changing them, but then added in bonus features. Now I will be doing a dedicated tips and tricks video about this phone here in the channel, so definitely make sure to watch that to learn how to get the most out of all the various software features on this device. And another awesome thing that this phone does have, thankfully, is NFC. So NFC is the technology used to make mobile contactless payments using tap and pay. So you can indeed use Google Pay with this phone to make payments using NFC, which is certainly a really great thing. But now that I've gone over the major specifications and features of this device, let's now take a closer look at the hardware. Now, taking a look at the left side of the phone, we just have the slot for the microSD card and SIM card. And then on the right side of the phone, we have volume up, volume down, and then also the power button, which is also the fingerprint sensor. Then up top here, we have the noise canceling microphone. And then on the bottom of the phone, we have the 3.5mm headphone jack, USB-C port for charging and data transfer, a microphone, speaker, and the stylus, which I'll talk about more in a second. And then on the back of the phone, we have the triple camera setup, the flash, Motorola logo, and that's pretty much it. Now, unfortunately, this material on the back of the phone does pick up some fingerprints, despite it being a more matte finish, but I do think it looks really awesome, and nowadays, most phones look relatively boring as far as the finish that comes with it goes. So I'm just glad that we do have something a bit more different and unique here with the Moto G Stylus 5G 2022. Now this phone is offered in 2 different colors, so definitely take a look at the links in the video description to see what your various options are. Oh, and another unfortunate thing about this device that I almost forgot to mention is that we do not have stereo sound, so we only have audio coming out of the main speaker on the bottom of the device. Of course, the earpiece still does work for phone calls, but that is it. So unlike some other devices, such as the Galaxy A53 5G, which this does compete against, there is no audio coming out of the earpiece in addition to the speaker when listening to music or watching a video, for example. So that does unfortunately make the experience not as good. However, at least the main speaker on the bottom of the phone is pretty decent, so in general, I wouldn't call it a deal breaker, but at the same time, I would have preferred to have stereo audio here. But now, for the best part of the video, the stylus. There it is, it's on the bottom of the phone. It does feature a punch out, punch in design here. It's very easy to access. And what's great about the stylus as well is that if you don't really end up using it, it's not inconvenient to have because it neatly then slides back into the device. And if you literally never use the stylus at all, you'd probably forget that it's even there. Now, if you want to use the stylus, then the good news is we do have one here. So it is very easy to take the stylus out of the phone. You'll see here we have a pop-up that has some various options, such as taking a note or making a drawing. So let's draw something. There we go. So this stylus is actually decently responsive, and it definitely seems better than some of the styluses I've used in the past on other Moto G Stylus devices. I'll have to look more into that when I have this phone versus the previous model side by side, but I am pretty impressed with how well this does work here. Now you can easily then erase. Of course, there's a bunch of other options when it comes to picking different colors and pens and all that stuff. And of course, in the Google Play Store, there's a variety of different third-party stylus-friendly apps to choose from. So in general, it's a great feature to have. I'm glad it's here, and there's really a lot of different ways that you can use this stylus. So in conclusion, I'm really excited about the Motorola Moto G Stylus 5G 2022. I feel like this is a really solid successor to last year's model of this device, and it is a little bit on the pricier side, especially when it comes to what we're getting here. However, I have a feeling that the carriers are going to be offering this phone with a variety of different promotions, so it's very likely that most people will not be paying full price for this device. But most importantly, I'm curious to know what you think about this phone. Definitely let me know in the comment section below, but this is Kevin here. This is the Moto G Stylus 5G 2022. And I will see you in the next video. Take care and have a great rest of your day.